unemployment choo-choo. It's the unemployment choo-choo. Back here on the unemployment choo-choo, and I'm going outside here, and I want to do this podcast outside, and you'll understand why. Do you remember last week when we discussed the new neighbors?
There's a little snow on the ground. Mm-hmm. The Bambinos were out playing. They were loud.
Mm-hmm.
And there was a rotund man with quite a vicious ass dragon.
Yeah, well, see,
if I remember correctly.
Yeah, it was. We called it Vilanch boy butt.
Oh yeah, Vilanch boy butt. Yeah, the VBB.
The VBB, and I don't. Here's the thing. All right, here I'm walking outside. He doesn't know exactly what we've said, but he knows that he's been a topic of discussion because I believe one of his kids mentioned that we were on a microphone. And now, anytime I'm outside with a microphone, within 10 minutes, he'll walk outside. I think he's aware. I don't think he knows about the Vilanch ass, but I think he's aware that we've talked about his arse several times.
So the kids dimed you out. They heard you.
Yep.
So he knows that we know.
I think he knows that we know, and I think he's aware that we're aware, and I think he, when you have ass like that, I think you try to hide it. Not hide it, but you don't want to make an announcement. And when he's like, when you go to a new place, you have new neighbors. You have a whole chance to rebuild your, neighborly relations. But if you're already, 4 days in and they already have decided you have Vilanch ass, where do you go from there, Jeff?
Look, it's a tricky situation to be involved in, okay? And, I don't know. I don't think you've ever had to be involved in that situation. I've had some very close friends that were a little rotund, and I learned about this throughout times. But it's something that you're very self-conscious about. And, a lot goes into having Vilanch boy butt, okay?
Okay.
Because you have to understand that it becomes a task, okay? So when you're in the restroom...
No, wait, the Vilanch ass becomes a task?
It becomes a task because you got to think about it. You got to break it down to its core. When you're in the bathroom, the bathroom becomes not just going and getting out of there. It becomes a task now. You're already big as it is. You're tired as it is. But now going to make sure that there's not a lot left over so that you have vicious Vilanch butt.
Well, so
you got to get in there and work. Now, this process, which should be 5 to 10 minutes, turns into 20, 25, trying to clean back there.
Well, that's see, this is where. So let's get to the root of the Vilanch ass. Number one, is it because there are dingleberries hanging? Is it because?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's one. That's
okay.
one. But dingleberries are a result of not completely being able to clean. They are the after. Effect.
So dingleberries are the after effect.
Right.
But the initial effect, I guess the stinky butt, does that come from the diet or does that come from just the swath of foods?
Well, sure. It comes from the diet. That does help. When you're chain swallowing yodels.
Right. When you're taking a ding dong in the fucking face.
Sure. When your entire afternoon consists of eating deep fried lard, these things are going to happen to you. So that doesn't help. So when you go to the bathroom and it's not, your diet isn't proper, it doesn't come out properly. So you have it.
So let me ask you: do you leak?
Leakage is possible. I mean, it depends.
Well, does the VBB occur because of leakage, or is it the dingles, or is it?
The VBB is not a full clensing.
Okay.
So the VBB is not a full cleansing, but then here's the problem. So you don't fully cleanse all the way. Well, then you have remnants left over. But then it becomes itchy. So now you're reaching around to itch. Now the itch is getting onto the clothing, okay? And it's seeping into the cotton or the polyester.
So the stink is seeping into... Now, what if you itch and a berry falls down?
No, well, look, that's a gamble you have to take when you suffer from VBB, okay?
So you have to take that gamble. Okay, it is. Okay.
But then now you've reached the underwear per se. Let's throw it out there. Maybe a pair of George Foreman underwear from Walmart.
Okay. Well, wait. Do they make them that size?
I'm not sure.
Where do you buy underwear to cover Vilanch? Because we're going to delve into this because the bigger issue that I want to get to is his demeanor has changed, and I think it's because of the Vilanch. But we'll get into that. But where does one get underwear, and can you get underwear protection?
You can. Well, first off, you can get Destination XL has the market cornered. And if you've ever tried to buy a 5 or 6X shirt, let me tell you, they're about $60, $70 a pop.
For a shirt.
So you can't walk into the mall and purchase a 4 or 5Xer. They're very far and in between.
Right.
Even at the big and tall sections that say like a JCPenney, they only go up to 3, and scarcely you'll find a 4X.
But you're never going to find a 5 or a 6.
Forget it, right. So you have to spend a lot of money. So when you look at,
Well, wait a minute. How does that? Well, okay, that's T-shirts. How does T-shirt size translate into underpants size?
Well, you also, they don't sell underwear that size either. But most bigger guys, if you've noticed, they really will be bigger on the top shirt-wise, but really have like a concave ass.
They do. You know what? You would assume convex, but the ass is concave. You're right. And you know what's funny? They actually have an average waist. When I say average waist, I mean, it might be 48 inches, but I mean, the tum-tum is a good 72. So it's like we have a friend, and we'll get into this later in the week too, that Uncle Sam thinks is a lesbian named Janice. That he must have, if his tummy's 70 inches, his waist's probably only, 42, something like that. Nothing crazy.
But yet you turn around and, you just want to ask him, like, how many inches is your ass, right?
Well,
the ass is like a,
Well, see, and this is the other thing that I wanted to ask you before because there's a lot to delve into here. And look, he's like out the window. Okay. How long is the average VBB crack? Because I feel like when you have boy butt like that, when you have Vilanch ass, you need extra crackage so that the smell can seep. Because you can't have regular crack and have that much seepage. Your thoughts?
Seepage varies.
Okay.
By VBB. But I think it depends. And it depends on how your crack is set up. Like our friend has a 2-mile long crack, so Janice. So, that VBB just slides all the way down the crack. It's a lot of work. It's a lot of toilet paper. It's a lot of things, and it's hard to get because. But I'm asking you. I need crack to ass ratio. So like this guy, I'm looking at him, and I hate to be this guy. But I stare at his ass, and I'm asking myself, what is his ass to crack ratio? Is his crack, what do you think the average crack is? Like, if you put a ruler, what do you think the average crack is? 9.5 to 10 inches? 9.5 to 10, maybe a little smaller, depending. But yeah, I think you're. Yeah, so let's call it a 9er. All right, you got a 9er. What is the crack ratio if you are a biggin? Like this guy, if he had a 9-inch crack, Jeff, he's just so large, it would just look like a little slit on a piece of paper. Is he short-legged? What's funny? He's average-legged, but he's bow-legged. Okay. So he's got like an indent, so his legs, they start out straight, then they bow out, and then they come down. So, and I'm looking at his arse. Well, I guess that helps with chafing, wouldn't it? I see. It would, except I just think he's got those logs in between they're so thick they still touch, bow-legged or not. Oh, boy. So he's a real weeble wobble. He's a big one. And so, wow. I've just tried to. All right. If I could say his crack, I would say his ass would probably be 20 inches wide. Oh, so you're getting out the tape measure. Yeah, and see, this is why I think we're having issues. And again, we'll get into this, but I would say it's about 20 wide. Probably, probably by a good 14 to 16 long.
And you can't have a 9.5-inch crack on a 15-incher.
The problem is that he knows you know. So if you were loud enough, which we can tend to be and not realize it, the kids overheard it.
Yep.
And they probably went in and they sat with them, and everybody's, they're eating whatever it is,
Oh, of course.
The El Paso burritos probably for dinner. The ones that are frozen, And
they're very wait, what's the maker then? Monterey. Go ahead, Monterey.
Yeah,
yep.
Monterey's, yep.
Mm-hmm.
Monterey's.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
And then one of the kids, and he's eating, he's doing good. He's putting all the extras on it. He's an extra guy.
Sour cream. He puts, and you know what? He probably's grilling extra beef.
Right, you name it. So he's doing it. He creates it. And he sits down, and then one of the kids, and he's ready. He's got the big spoon.
Mm-hmm.
He always makes the joke like the big spoon is Daddy's spoon.
You're right.
And then don't touch the big spoon. And then out of nowhere, one of the kids says, "Dad, who's Vilanch?" And then he stops. Stops.
Now, does his heart palpitate?
A little bit.
Okay.
A little bit.
Okay.
But it can't palpitate too much.
Right. Of course. Of course.
But then, who's Vilanch? And then he goes, "Why?" And he goes, "Well, the guy next door was talking about Vilanch and butt." And he knew right there. He knows you know.
So then let me ask you, do people who have this syndrome, do they have, I guess, you know how like when you get cut, right? And your body, it makes new skin, or when you break your leg, your bone, re-heals. Like, you know what I mean?
Right.
It adjusts. Your body adjusts to situations.
Right.
If you are a VBB, a Vilanch ass guy, does your ass adjust to what it's been given? So let's say you were born with a regular 9-incher, a 9-inch crack. You're a regular guy,
right.
And then somewhere
you're average ass.
You're average ass.
You got a dad ass.
Or you got dad ass, and then somewhere along the line you become a Vilanch. Your ass becomes concave, and then it's like this 9.5 crack. I mean, it would literally be half the butt. Does the butt adjust?
Look, I don't think that when you have a Vilanch ass, it is very hard to ever adjust. And the person that comes up with the contraption, because the bidet, it's not enough. The bidet's for a dad ass. You need something that is really going to get in there, short of getting in to the shower after you go to the bathroom every time with the detachable shower head.
I was going to say, but even if you're showering, Jeff, I mean, if you're a large and in charge looking for chickies, how you can't reach back there? You're going to need some kind of accessory, a loofah perhaps.
Yeah, but I'm thinking detachable shower head.
Okay.
Detaches. You set it on the ground, and then you squat over top,
okay,
so that it shoots up. But you got to turn it, the knobs till it's in massage mode.
Okay,
so that's where you really get the.
Oh, right, got it. Right.
The pulsating cleaning, yes.
And so,
it's a whole. Do you see what I'm saying? When you have VBB, all you have to go through.
Well, yeah, I mean, first off, it sounds great. And second off, I mean, you're talking about bending over in a shower like it's easy come, easy go. That seems like a task in and of itself.
I bet you if you asked him where he lived before, he lived in a warmer climate, okay? But living in a warmer climate is not proper for you if you have VBB.
Wait, who lived in a warmer climate?
I bet you your neighbor did.
Well, what makes you think he lived in a warm climate? Isn't a warm climate kind of, the antithesis?
Hence why he moved to the Northeast, so that he could live in Philadelphia. Okay. And only a couple of months out of the year, really, does he have to suffer through it. He's not somebody that wants to go live, in the Alps, okay?
Right. But that's a lot of walking, Jeff. That's a lot of walking up in the Alps.
So he gets a couple months out of the year, and he just plainly hangs outside, doesn't he? In the wintertime, he seems to enjoy the most, doesn't he?
You know what's really funny? Ever since he's been in there, and you know me, I'm always hot too, but that's because I'm diabetic. But like when he walks outside, he's got flip flops, he's got thin pajama pants, he's got a muscle shirt on, and I mean, you can literally see, like he has side teat. And I mean, that's the side teat
the tits that go all the way around to the back?
Oh yeah, he's got full tit. I mean, he's got 360